Today I am going to walk you through 50 of the strangest, most specific, and frankly hilarious contract clauses in celebrity history. I have to start with the queen herself, Queen Latifah. If you have watched her movies lately, you might notice she always makes it to the end credits. That is because she has a literal no-death clause in her contract. After dying in Set It Off, she decided she was done with dramatic exits and now legally ensures her survival for any potential sequels. Then there is Tom Cruise. He is the biggest action star in the world, yet you will never see a Tom Cruise action figure or video game character. He has a clause that strictly prohibits his likeness from being used for merchandise. He wants you to see him in the theater, not on a toy shelf. Speaking of action stars, the Fast and Furious franchise has some of the most fragile egos in the business. Vin Diesel has a clause that limits how many times he can be punched. He even developed a system to count the hits so he never looks weaker than his co-stars. The Rock Johnson is just as particular. His contract states that his character can never lose a fight. He has to remain the standing victor or at least equal to his opponent, ensuring his tough guy brand stays perfectly intact. Jason Statham completes this trio of toughness. His contract also demands that he cannot be beaten up too badly. It is a literal fight for screen dominance written into legal documents so that no one looks like the loser. On a lighter note, Samuel L. Jackson has a priority that has nothing to do with acting. He has a golf clause. Wherever he is filming, the production must drive him to a golf course at least twice a week. He has even moved production schedules just to make his tea time. Jack Nicholson had a similar sports requirement. When he filmed Batman in 1989, he had a clause that gave him time off for every Los Angeles Lakers home game. The production had to work around the NBA schedule because Jack simply would not miss seeing his team. Barbra Streisand takes comfort to a whole new level. She demands peach-colored toilet paper to match her complexion. She also requires rose petals in the toilet bowl. Jennifer Lopez is famous for her white room request. Her contract stipulates that her dressing room must be entirely white. White flowers, white tables, white drapes, white candles, and white couches. She says it brings her a sense of peace amidst the chaos of touring. Madonna is equally specific about her environment. She requires a brand new toilet seat at every single venue she performs in. It must be wrapped in plastic and opened by her personally. She also reportedly demands that her dressing room looks exactly like her home, meaning they have to ship in her own furniture. Let's go back to the classics with Roger Moore. When he played James Bond, he had a clause that supplied him with an unlimited amount of Monte Cristo cigars. The production bill for his smoking habit reportedly ran into the thousands. Steve McQueen was obsessed with the status. When he starred in The Towering Inferno with Paul Newman, he fought for top billing. They settled on a clause where their names appeared diagonally on the poster so that neither was technically higher or lower than the other. George Clooney made sure he was comfortable while filming Gravity. He requested a custom beach hut installation right next to his trailer, complete with a landscape garden and a basketball court. He created his own private resort on a studio lot. Will Smith went even bigger. For Men in Black 3, he demanded a double-decker trailer that was so massive, residents in New York City complained it was blocking out the sun. It included a lounge, a screening room, and a full gym. Eddie Murphy has a hygiene clause that is quite unique. He requests brand new underwear and socks every single morning. He puts them on once and then they are thrown away. He never wears the same pair of socks twice. Cher has a clause for her most famous accessory. She requires a completely separate room just for her wigs. These are not just placed on a shelf. They have their own climate-controlled space to ensure they stay in perfect condition. Paris Hilton, during her brief acting stints, had a clause for live lobsters and Grey Goose vodka to be available on set. It is a very specific menu for a day at work, but she got what she wanted. Gary Busey, known for his eccentricities, played a role in a film called Quigley where he dies and goes to heaven. He refused to film the scene until they removed the mirrors from the set because he claimed he had been to heaven and there were no mirrors there. Dolph Lundgren had a tough time with English early in his career. For Masters of the Universe, he had a clause that gave him 3 takes to get his lines right. If he messed up the 3rd time, they could bring in a voice actor to dub him, but he wanted those 3 chances guaranteed. Juliana Margulies has a wig clause for a different reason. After spending years on ER with her natural curly hair, she requested to wear a wig for The Good Wife so she could spend less time in the makeup chair and have a distinct look for the new character. Kanye West, never one to be outdone, has a rider that demands all his drivers wear 100% cotton clothes, no synthetic fibers allowed. He also requested a slushy machine that dispensed specifically Coke and Hennessy. Jay-Z is very particular about temperature. His contract states the venue must be set to exactly 74 degrees. He also asks for high-quality peanut butter, requesting a specific organic brand rather than the generic. Beyoncé demands alkaline water that is chilled to exactly 21 degrees. She also asks for hand-carved ice balls to suck on to soothe her throat. Her toilet paper preference is red. Unlike Streisand's peach, Rihanna wants her dressing room to have a very specific vibe. She requests animal print rugs, specifically cheetah or leopard, and they must be clean enough for her to walk on barefoot. She also demands drapes that completely cover any brick or lockers. Justin Timberlake is a germaphobe's hero. He requires that every doorknob doorknob backstage be disinfected every 2 hours. He also often requests an entire floor of a hotel or a private elevator so he does not have to share space with anyone. Iggy Pop is known for having one of the funniest writers in history. He once requested a Bob Hope impersonator to be in his dressing room just for entertainment. He also asked for a caustic remark about the band to be written on the wall. Van Halen is famous for the brown M&M's clause. They demanded a bowl of M&M's with all the brown ones removed. It sounded like a diva move, but it was actually a safety test. If they saw brown M&M's, they knew the promoters had not read the technical safety requirements for their massive stage setup. Marlon Brando was a nightmare on the set of Apocalypse Now. He refused to be weighed and refused to read the script. His contract allowed him to improvise almost everything, and he demanded to be filmed only in shadow to hide his weight gain. Johnny Depp reportedly has a sound engineer on his payroll who feeds him his lines through an earpiece. He prefers to listen to the dialogue rather than memorize it, claiming it allows him to act with his eyes more effectively. Then, we have Wesley Snipes. During the filming of Blade Trinity, he refused to speak to the director. He would only communicate via post-it notes, which he signed as Blade. He stayed in character the entire time, making the production incredibly difficult but undeniably memorable. Mariah Carey, you might know about the rumors of puppies and kittens, but her real demands are even more specific. She reportedly has a clause for a designated assistant whose sole job is to catch her chewing gum when she is done with it. She also requests someone to help her if she encounters stairs, because clearly, walking down them alone is for regular people. Then there is Katy Perry. She is colorful and fun, but her contract is deadly serious about flowers. She loves having fresh flowers in her dressing room, but she has a strict, all-caps warning in her rider that says absolutely no carnations. If she sees a carnation, it is a deal breaker. We all know Paul McCartney is a vegetarian, but he takes it a step further than just the catering menu. His contract bans animal products from his entire vicinity. This means no leather couches in the dressing room and absolutely no leather seats in the limousine that picks him up. Even the glue used in the furniture has to be animal-free. Lindsay Lohan once had an interview offer from a Russian television show. Most people would ask for a fee and a flight, but Lindsay demanded a meet and greet with Vladimir Putin himself. She wanted to take photos with him as part of the deal. Talk about aiming high for a simple interview. The Foo Fighters are legends for their sense of humor, and it shows in their contracts. They include clauses specifically designed to make sure the promoters are actually reading them. They have asked for coloring books and even vegetable soup solely because they claimed meaty soups gave their roadies gas. Nicolas Cage is known for his intense acting style, but for the movie Vampire's Kiss, he wanted to take it to a dangerous level. He reportedly demanded a clause that would allow a real live bat to bite him during a scene. The director had to fight him on it, eventually convincing him to use an animatronic bat for safety reasons. Uma Thurman knows her worth, and she makes sure everyone else knows it too. She had a clause in one of her contracts that stated no other cast member could have a more favorable dressing room than her. It is called a most favored nation clause, ensuring she is always the queen of the set. Rebel Wilson had a clause for the pitch-perfect movies that went against every standard Hollywood trend. Her contract strictly prohibited her from losing any weight during filming. While other stars were hiring personal trainers to get ripped, she was legally obligated to stay the exact same size to ensure continuity for her character, Fat Amy, meaning any dieting was a breach of contract. Mark Wahlberg is a businessman as much as an actor. For the movie Silver Linings Playbook, he had a clause that entitled him to nearly $1 million if the female lead dropped out of the film. Anne Hathaway was originally cast, and when she left, he got paid, even though he eventually left the project too. Game of Thrones fans might have noticed that Cersei and Bronn never shared a scene. That is because actors Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn had a bad breakup years prior. They reportedly had a clause in their contracts that kept them permanently separated on set. They could not be in the same room, let alone the same scene. Mike Myers cost the studio a fortune with a mid-production demand for Shrek. After recording the entire movie in his natural voice, he decided the ogre should be Scottish to contrast with the villain's British accent. He exercised his creative control to scrap the existing audio and re-record every single line, a whim that reportedly added $4 million to the movie's budget just for an accent change. Bruce Willis actually ended up in some of his biggest movies because of a contract disaster. He blew up a production called Broadway Brawler so badly that Disney threatened to sue him. To settle it, he signed a deal to do 3 movies for them at a deeply discounted rate. Those movies turned out to be Armageddon, The Sixth Sense, and The Kid. Britney Spears has a very specific request for her dressing room ambiance. She reportedly asks for a framed photo of Princess Diana to be placed in her room at every venue. She has always admired the late princess and wants her spirit nearby while she performs. Adele is known for her soulful voice, but her rider is surprisingly down to earth with one catch. She demands that there be absolutely no organic honey. She only wants the processed squeezy bear kind. She also lists Marlboro Lights as a must-have. Eminem might be a rap god, but his food requests are straight out of a middle school cafeteria. He has been known to demand Lunchables, Diet Coke, and shrimp cocktails. It is a humble list for someone who could ask for anything in the world. Sharon Stone had a clause for Basic Instinct 2 that would make any fashion lover jealous. She demanded that she get to keep all the costumes and jewelry she wore in the film. considering the high-end designer wardrobe, that was a massive bonus on top of her salary. Kim Basinger is famously particular about her beauty routine. Rumor has it she once had a contract stipulation that required her hair to be washed only with Evian water. Tap water was simply not good enough for her locks. Drake is all about setting the mood. His contract requires 4 dozen incense sticks, and they must be natural scents. He also demands Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap, proving that even at the top of the charts, you want to smell minty fresh. Taylor Swift is a machine when she is on tour, and she runs on fuel. Her rider includes a requirement for a run to Starbucks before 11 a.m. She also requests Kraft mac and cheese and a stick of butter, keeping her comfort food game strong while she travels the globe. Finally, we have the late, legendary Prince. When he made a cameo on the show New Girl, he demanded that the Kardashians, who were also filming that day, be removed from the set. He also reportedly requested that everything in his dressing room be wrapped in plastic film until he was ready to use it. He wanted a pristine, untouched environment. These clauses might sound insane to us, but in Hollywood, if you have the leverage, you can ask for the moon, or at least a basketball court and some peach toilet paper. Which one of these demands would you put in your contract if you were famous?